Hello, this is Jacob Fry with FryTech IT Services. This is my third video in the desktop refurbish series. In this video, I'm going to be installing the DVD drive and hooking up the data cable to it. And the hard drive, I actually took a 2.5-inch laptop hard drive right here, and I've modified my case so that this will fit instead of a desktop hard drive, because this was the spare one that I had left, and this is all it's going to need. And I'm also going to install a case fan, or the back case fan, on this. So right here, if you look at the front, you have the hole for the DVD drive. All it does is slide straight into the front. So you got your DVD drive. This is your back panel, standard SATA panel back here, and the front. And all it does is slide in here until it locks into place, actually, and these two screw holes line up. And then all you do is take the two screws and pop those in, and that's really, really easy to install. This is actually these screws will fit, but these are the ones I'm using for the hard drive. Here's the other ones. And once you put this in, I'm going to actually take this hard drive, and right here on the case there was two holes right here originally for the main hard drive, and it would be the 3.5-inch one, and it would slide in right, just like this, and you would pop, a screw here and a screw here on both sides, and it would also be off the metal. But see, this one's a lot flatter, a lot more flat, and it actually touches the metal. So I've got a piece of anti-static bag that a hard drive comes in that I'm just going to line up on this when I screw it in so that it doesn't ground itself. And all I've done is taken a standard drill and drilled a hole right here for the other screw hole. So I'm just going to take this and put it up here. Line up my holes. See if I can get this started just a little bit. It's a little more difficult to install because it's not sitting on that bracket like a standard hard drive would. And then, before I tighten that one all the way down, let's see if I can get this screw to stay on here better. I actually punched a couple of small holes in that anti-static bag as well, so that this would screw down in here properly without getting all tangled up in there. And just tighten those two down, and that's plenty of room to do it. It might knock around just a little bit when it spins up, but I'm not worried about it. This is a refurbishing machine for myself, and I'm just trying to get to work with the spare parts that I have. Like I said, if this was a 3.5-inch hard drive or standard desktop hard drive, you'd slide it in the exact same way. You'd put screws here and here, here and here, and you'd be ready to roll. And you actually wouldn't need any type of anti-static anything, because it would actually be off of the metal enough to where it wouldn't ground out or anything. But this gives you an idea. It's the same basic concept here. So the last thing I'm going to do is install this fan here, and all you do is line up the fan with the 4 screw holes. This actually takes a 120mm or an 80mm, so that's the reason that there's 8 holes in there instead of just 4. I'm going to be using the outside ones. And you just take your fan, and like last time, you want to know which direction the air is going to blow, and it blows out from the sticker. And there's actually arrows on here that tells you exactly how it spins and everything, but I know how it spins. So you're going to want to blow the air out, because this is the only outlet for air. There's no fan on the front or anything blowing air out. Normally air would come in the front and come out the back if you set these up. So all you got to do is make sure that your cord here for your fan is going to reach the fan connector, which is actually right down here behind the processor. It's a little maroon plug-in. And the screws that you're going to use for this have a really wide thread in them, and they screw into plastic. So I'm going to turn this around here so I can get some good torque on this. These take a lot more torque to put in, but it's been put in a couple of times, so it's really not nearly as hard as if you put it in the first time. Sometimes the first time you put these things in, it can be difficult to get this to screw into the plastic correctly without stripping everything out. And then once I get that one in a little ways, and put the caddy cornered one in. This bit's just a little bit larger than what I really need to do this properly. And always hold the pressure on the back of it so you don't push it through. Or push on it too hard, you might end up breaking something on it, or it's going to take forever to get the threads started in it. And once you pop all 4 of these puppies in, and even on this last one, it's a good idea to hold the back. You've got to put quite a bit of pressure to get these to go in. Once you install that, that's pretty straightforward to install that thing. You just plug in your fan right into this connection. These things are keyed, so they only go one direction. It's got this piece of plastic here on it so that it only goes one way. And you plug that in, and there you go. You're good to go. So the last thing I'm going to do here is plug in my SATA connections or my data connections. So these are keyed to only go in one way. There's a little L shape on here, and they only fit in one way on the DVD drive and the hard drive. You just plug that in there, and this is actually going to go into SATA 1. It's really the second SATA slot, but they always start at 0, so this is 0 and that's 1. Like I showed you earlier. And this one goes into slot 1. If I put it in the right way. See, it's keyed, so it only goes in one direction. And the next one goes right up under here, the connection to the hard drive. And there you go. You got all that plugged in. So now we've got our DVD drive in, our case fan in, and our hard drive in. So the last thing we need to do is put the case front on here. Put the power supply in really first, and then put the case front on, and we'll be good to go. So I'm going to do that in the next video. Hopefully you learn what you need to learn to install all these different components, or at least increase your knowledge of how to do this, or your knowledge about computers. Please visit me at www.frytechit.com.